Okay, YouTube, this is Acid Roots. I've got an album review, which is Sepultura's Roots. This came out in 1996 and was the final album with Max Cavalera. So this is a pretty big release, mainly because it has traces of new metal in it, and it kind of helped mash out the genre along with Korn and Deftones and a couple others, but in 96 this was kind of relatively new, and they also have some traces of groove metal and other types of metal, maybe thrash metal, death metal that I don't know as well. Now, the thing to know about this is it is really noisy. It's probably some of the most ferocious type metal that I've heard even yet. I used to think Slipknot was pretty bad in this category. Mudvayne was another one, and I'd say maybe Fear Factory, but they pretty much use their voices extremely well. They know how to get pretty loud, but the problem with it is it is unorthodox and it's a wild trip, but it's almost too unrefined. That's the only thing, is it's hard to pick up on what they're saying, and also they have no they have absolutely zero bit of chart appeal. So that's really the thing. They may have charted in other countries. They're a lot more known across the world than they are in the United States, but I do kind of feel like they have some sort of following here, but there's not a single hit that charted in America on Sepultura. So they've got an album coming out that I'm getting ready to review in January, and I wanted to brush up on what they're like. It's going to be a different vocalist. Max Cavalera left after this album and was replaced with Derek Green, who's been there since 1997 or so. And it's going to be time to see what he's about. Now, I wanted to get one more Sepultura album in, but I don't think there's going to be enough time between now and January 13th. I'm going to have to really buckle down and listen to them. But from what I got of this, I like the trip that I took with this, but I do wish that they would have been a little bit more polished in order to get some hits that more people know, because it does feel like kind of a more beneath the radar project more so than anything commercial, but it is good music. So the three singles that were released that maybe you'll know across the world is Roots, Bloody Roots, Attitude, and Radha Mahada. So that last one sounds like a really different country type song. I didn't really appreciate that third single, but Attitude and Roots, Bloody Roots are really the best. I think the Roots, Bloody Roots song is probably the best song on here. That is a real monstrous song. I mean, that just screams energy, pretty much gets you pumped in almost any situation. Attitude is another close one. Takes a little bit longer for the music to start, but it does hit pretty hard. I feel like Spit is another one that's just like Roots, Bloody Roots. If we're looking for more, that is probably the most commercial song, I would say, is that very first song. Uh, Radha Mahada, that one sounds really tribal, and it was a little bit too much of a venture for me, but it still was released as a single. And so, out of 15 songs, really, the 16th song is over 13 minutes, and then there's two songs that are less than 2 minutes. So really, we could say that there's about 13 songs, but I did find myself liking about 7 out of 13 or 15. So Cutthroat is another one to go for. Basically, the first 4 songs, I mean, Radha Mahada, if you're used to it and you have a better taste for it, you could probably like that one. I'd say the first 4 songs are the best moments, and then there's like another stretch starting with the song Spit all the way to Born Stubborn that does it as well. So Jonathan Davis is on here from Korn, and I think a band member of Korn, I think it's David Silveria. He's also on here. DJ Lethal from uh, House of Pain is on here. Not a ton of guests, but it it does what it does. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about some of the best moments. So besides Roots Bloody Roots, I think Cutthroat and Spit have some real gnarled vocals. They're real nasty. I think you'll like it. Just like Mudvayne, except these are probably the originators. You don't have to worry about being bored. That's the first thing to know is you don't have to worry about being bored. But if you're just looking for like content and whether or not it's food for thought, it doesn't seem like it. But that's what I gathered from it. So it is. But just because it's not uh, is conscious does not mean that it's not a good trip. This is definitely metal the way that metal is supposed to be. But and then I'm starting to realize like, do we really need thoughts for metal? But so Born Stubborn is another one. That's like a mosh song right there. I thought definitely for Born Stubborn. And yeah, so those are the four. So the 7 songs that you need to hear are Roots, Bloody Roots, Attitude, Cutthroat, Spit, Look Away, Dusted, and Born Stubborn. The possible song I'm not quite on the fence about, but maybe is Rada Mahata, which is the 3rd single. So I'm going to give this album a 5 out of 10 because I liked about half the project, but I really could have used more. And I think specifically if they would have cleaned it up, a song like Roots Bloody Roots probably would have done decently well because Mudvayne did this, and Chad Gray's group after he left Mudvayne did this. Slipknot does this all the time. It's got much similarities to this sort of thing. It just was too off the hinge. And I have no problem with that. I mean, really, me listening to this type of music, I like getting pumped anyways. So it's just unfortunate that there's no radio station I think that'll play the music. So forgot what I was saying. Attitude is another such moment that does this. And so 2 out of 3 singles works. And yeah, you're basically gonna want to discover this. So it's more once you're more of a more informed metal follower, I think. The social score is going to get a 1 out of 10. I mean, it charted pretty high across the world, but I'm just disappointed that America didn't take on it that well. And can this record be topped? I think it could. We could have used some more songs like the Roots and Attitude songs, and probably Jonathan Davis, more songs like that, just more attention. And the future, Sepultura is dropping an album in January that I'm going to review. So that takes care of that. All right, subscribe for more fun.